Hamilton Mayor Fred Eisenberger joins us now with an update of what's happening in the city. Good morning to you.
Good morning. Happy reopening day.
Yes, happy reopening day. Before we get to that, I'm surprised you have a voice this morning. You were at the World Cup qualifier at Tim Hortons Field, the eyes of the country on our city.
Oh, it was my voice is a little hoarse. Maybe not as hoarse as some others, because it was a lively crowd that cheered from beginning to end. And of course, a great game for Canada. We started off the game with a goal, which was spectacular, and ended the game with a goal right at the very end. So a 2-0 victory for Canada that certainly bodes well for us being in the World Cup upcoming, and that'll be a first in a very, very long time. So great crowd, great enthusiasm, and certainly a great victory for Canada, and onwards and upwards.
And that crowd at half capacity, 12,000 people, because of the limitations that were in effect yesterday. How do you think this bodes for the city overall in hosting an event like that, in hosting it successfully?
Listen, we know we can do this. We've had our Pan Am experience where our stadium was predominantly the soccer facility. It's a great stadium for soccer. In fact, Tim Hortons Field is set up perfectly for soccer games, and we are and have been very, very capable of having these great national and international events happen right here in Hamilton. So we look forward to more. Upcoming is the Winter Classic hockey game, which would be another great opportunity in March for us to enjoy the stadium, as well as that classic outdoor hockey game. So we're anticipating more and more. I think full credit goes to the Tiger Cat organization and a city staff that actually made the facility ready, because you might expect that there was a fair bit of snow in the stadium, and there was not a trace of it visible at all, especially on the field. So it was ideal conditions for soccer, and certainly we're ready, willing, and able to host more of these kinds of events in the future.
I was mentioning that to Tim Boland earlier, that, yeah, you saw no trace at all of snow. Let's talk now about the restrictions that are opening up today. Ahead of that, though, there's a real push for children in Hamilton to get vaccinated, because the city has a very low rate of child vaccines.
Yeah, there's a lag in child vaccination basically throughout the province and throughout the country, and I think parents are somewhat reluctant or leery to do that for their children. I would encourage them to talk to their pediatricians. We have many clinics set up, ready, willing, and able to do the vaccination, and in-school locations as well, to make it even more convenient. They've been working with the school boards to ensure that we have clinics there that are available to them, so that they can easily get their vaccine while they're at school. And so all the availability is there. We just need folks to make a decision to vaccinate their children. And certainly that's a conversation they need to have with their doctor, pediatrician, medical doctor. And I've no doubt that the vast majority of them will say that this is the best thing they can do for their children. As we have been advocating for all peoples, is the vaccination is the way that we're going to push back against this virus and get back to reasonable normalcy. And hopefully today is an indicator of what that normalcy will start to look like. Even though there are going to be restrictions, it's more open now than it has been in the past weeks. And certainly that's something to look forward to.
What's the situation with the boarded up vents now at the back of Hamilton City Hall?
Well, it's the appropriate material has been placed there. I would say it was a bit of a bonehead move on behalf of our staff to not get a building permit. But that has been rectified, and the appropriate material is there. So the original design was fine, but the material that they used, the plywood, was not appropriate for fire code issues. So it's all now built to code. And sadly, it was a very unfortunate circumstance. Our city hall is accessible to city residents and city staff that are all entering that building through that location. And unfortunately, some in our community decided that was a location where they were going to sleep and administer their drugs and do their bodily fluids, and unfortunately also be abusive and aggressive with folks that are coming into to City Hall. So it was not a tenable situation, and we reached out to all of those individuals to try and get them appropriate housing. And certainly we want them all to be in a warm and sheltered space, but that isn't the safe and warm and sheltered space that we want people to go to. So we've for the moment blocked it off, but hopefully we can get that reopened again at some point. And people should be encouraged to not use these public spaces as places for them to set up house, do drugs, or urinate and defecate in those locations either. That is just not acceptable for our city hall, nor is it acceptable anywhere else.
Okay, we have run out of time. Mayor Fred Eisenberger, thanks for joining us this morning.
All the best. Have a great day. Go Canada, go.